Joining me now is Missouri Senator Josh Hawley of the Judiciary Committee, which, of course, took the lead on securing Justice Barrett's confirmation. Senator Hawley, great to see you tonight. All that hard work. I thought about this. I was at the South Lawn watching Amy Coney Barrett be sworn in, and I thought all of her hard work paid off for her personally, but it actually paid off for the country in getting a just woman of incredible intellect and character on the court.
Yeah, we're getting the country is getting a stellar justice. And I have to say, Laura, I mean, for religious conservatives who have fought for so long and who have gone and voted for so long for Republicans on the basis that they would appoint pro-Constitution, pro-religious liberty, pro-life justices to the Supreme Court, tonight's a big moment. This is the most openly pro-life justice of my lifetime, the most openly pro-life judicial nominee to the Supreme Court of my lifetime. And you know what? She didn't back away from that in her confirmation hearing. She didn't back away from any of her views, any of the things she had written. She stood her ground. She stood down the Democrats. Tonight, she's a new justice.
But she spoke tonight from the South Lawn also about the role of the judiciary, Senator Hawley. I mean, the fact that she's a pro-life justice doesn't really, for her, and given what she said tonight, she said there are two different roles. The legislator, who has the policy preference, might be, against Roe versus Wade and abortion, but as the jurist, you must be faithful to the Constitution. That she gave everyone a constitutional law primer tonight in her very short remarks.
Yeah, exactly. She's someone who understands that judicial imperialism is not the role that the Constitution gives to judges on the Supreme Court or any of our courts, and that, in fact, the role of the judge is not to impose policy views, but is to follow the law faithfully. And that means, Laura, sticking to the Constitution's text, sticking to the text of the laws. And I have to tell you, I think that Judge Barrett, now Justice Barrett, is going to do exactly that. But it is important that in this day and age, you can be openly pro-life. She was openly critical of Roe when she was a professor, when she was in private practice. And you know what? That's not a disqualification. It's okay to be a pro-life Catholic and be on the Supreme Court of the United States. It's okay to be openly critical of Roe. You can do that and be on the Supreme Court of the United States. This confirmation is vital for setting that principle down. She's going to be a great justice.
Yeah, I could not be more thrilled. And by contrast, I don't know if you caught 60 Minutes last night, Senator Hawley, but Joe Biden laid out this plan for the court.
If elected, what I will do is I'll put together a national commission bipartisan commission of scholars, constitutional scholars, Democrats, Republicans, liberal, conservative, and I will ask them to, over 180 days, come back to me with recommendations as to how to reform the court system. It's not about court packing.
180 days and a bipartisan commission. What's going on here, Senator Hawley?
Yeah, that's a total joke. I mean, listen, he wants to pack the court. The Democrats, the radical left who's taken over their party, they're desperate to pack the court. I mean, this has been their whole mantra here now for a long time. I mean, the Democrats were threatening the Supreme Court months ago by saying, we're going to restructure you. That's their new word. They want to pack the court. They want to pack the Senate. They want to rig American democracy and basically overturn the results of the last two elections. That's their agenda. He's, of course, going to give in to it. He just doesn't have the guts to say it. I wish he'd just own it. I mean, have some guts. Say, yeah, I want to change the court, and then we can have a debate about it. But let's make no mistake, Laura, their goal here, the Democrats' agenda, pack the court, pack the Senate, rig our democracy, just like they rigged our economy under Obama, Biden, shipped all of our jobs overseas. Now they want to rig democracy, and that's why we've got to stop them.
Well, when you see how incredibly nasty things have gotten in this presidential election year, where the left is blaming the president for a virus that originated in China, as the left is now cozying up to business interests that want to send jobs over to China, Senator Hawley. I thought there used to be pro-worker. What happened to that?
Yeah, exactly. They don't make much pretense of that anymore, do they? No, this is a party that now is owned by these multinational corporations, Wall Street, Silicon Valley. That's where their big donors are. They give all the money to the Democrats, and what they want is a return to liberal globalism. They're going to go right back to the Obama-Biden years where they shipped all those jobs overseas, where workers' wages were flat or declining. That's what they want to go back to. And Biden, you know, he's an apologist for China. He also said in that interview that he thought that Russia was our biggest threat. He can barely bring himself to name China as a competitor. I mean, this guy's totally out of touch with reality, totally in the pocket of the big corporations. That's bad news for working Americans.
Social media is a huge force in this election, especially this election, with all sorts of warnings and context and all sorts of little messages you see on Twitter and other platforms. What about the CEOs of the big social media companies? They're not going to testify before the election. They are, I guess, set to testify November 17th. How does that move the ball down the field post-election?
Well, it doesn't move it in the way it should. I mean, I'm absolutely of the view that they should have been subpoenaed, and they have been, but they should have been subpoenaed before the election. Which is what I'd cast my vote for. So I think we should be hearing from them. I think it's a mistake that we're not hearing from them before the election. But I will say this:
who's behind that, Senator? Who's behind putting that off? Sorry to interrupt, but you know, who's behind? Who is behind putting that off?
The committee, the Judiciary Committee, voted to authorize the chairman, Senator Graham, to issue the subpoenas. And it's up to the chairman and committee staff to decide when those subpoenas will issue. So I think, I believe, Laura, that actually now these CEOs have agreed to come in voluntarily. So I think the subpoenas actually didn't even go out. So maybe that was part of the deal that, well, we've got to come in later, and therefore, you know, that way you don't have to subpoena us. I don't know, but, you know, I think they should be in before the election. I think it is absolutely vital that we tell them you cannot get by with this. And Laura, we need to change the law. We need to change the law to quit giving these special sweetheart deals to Twitter and Facebook and Google. We have got to hold them accountable and to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
All right, Senator, thank you so much tonight. Great to see you as always. And the media